Hello, and welcome back to Main Street Digital Academy, where all your instruction is free. Today, we're going to show you one of the best-selling products and one of the easiest to make, body butters. We're going to make an 8-ounce, but if you want to make more, just multiply what we use by the number of items that you want to make. One of the great things about body butters is you can make them in a multitude of fragrances and then have them at least 3 different sizes. In addition, you can add many different additives to each body butter to make it your own type or brand. Always look to see if the body butter base tells you how much extra load you can add to the body butter, like the fragrance, essential oil, or any other additive type oils. As an example, Bulk Apothecary has reasonable pricing on their body butters, but doesn't give any information on adding fragrances, essential oils, or extra additive loads. So be cautious. Essentials by Catalina has several bases, and they give particulars on adding fragrances and essential oils. Wholesale Supply gives you a lot of information about the body butters and how much in additives you can add. So you see, the possibilities are endless for making unlimited types of body butters, and you can try any combination to see how well it sells. For most of your early sales, you'll be making just a few of each type of body butters that you want to make. To make this fast and simple, I'm going to show you how to hand mix up to 5 8-ounce body butters thoroughly at one time in a plastic baggie. When you start making more than that, you can use a mixer. This short video is going to show you how long it takes and what to look for to mix your fragrances, additives, and coloring in a baggie. Watch this now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so today we're going to demonstrate how long it takes to actually get a good mix of your lotions whenever you're putting a fragrance, essential oil, or anything else, with your creams. Now, this is good also for aftershave lotions and everything else that's a liquid or a cream. So what I want you to do is grab your 4 ounces of a cream or a body butter or whatever that you have, and I want you to add 2 drops of red food coloring in it. That's what I'm going to do there. We're going to close the baggie up tight. Make sure it's sealed well. I always fold it over like this so that it doesn't come out. Now we're going to mix it until everything is an even color. And you're going to see how long it takes to do that. Now this is hand mixing. You can see some of it's still white, some of it's still pink, some of it's kind of red. We're going to keep moving it, and you want to make sure that you get the corners of the baggie in. A lot of times that won't move unless you push it in. So now everything is pretty much an even pink. And you can see you still have some places here that's red. But you want to get an even mix. And the reason we're doing this is because you won't be able to see a lot of the things that you put in with your mixes, like the fragrances and essential oils. Okay, so now it's a nice even pink. That's what we have. And that's how long it takes to make yourself a good mix. Now, most wholesale body butters don't tell you how much total additives you can use, but I believe it's a safe level would be around 3 to 5%. You can add more or less, and that would be up to you to make sure to test the modified product for compatibility and stability. Most recommended usage rates that are the allowable rate usually come straight from the manufacturer of the additive. Some manufacturers say use 1% fragrance or essential oils. That's 2.36 milliliters in an 8-ounce. I usually use a little bit more, but that is up to you to test. And remember, essential oils are stronger than fragrances. It's up to you to do your homework. I will be using an avocado body butter base and can have up to 1% fragrance. Any additives to that base will have to be based on what the manufacturer of the additive says. So I will be using an aloe vera extract that also says can be up to a 1% usage. How do I figure out how much that is, and how do I measure it out? Here's your easy equation answer. There are 29.57 milliliters in an ounce. Write that down somewhere as you'll be using it a lot. It's 8 ounces is equal to 29.57 times 8, which equals 236.56 milliliters. Multiply that by 1%. That's 236.56 times 0.01, and that equals 2.36 milliliters. We'll round it and call it 2.5 milliliters you can add to your body butter in total. It's almost impossible to measure without using a syringe or a pipette that measures milliliters. So I'm going to use 2.5 milliliters of fragrance and add 2.5 milliliters of aloe to make the total 5 milliliters. You can use coloring if you want, but if you put it in a jar other than a plain see-through, it's not going to have much effect because nobody will see it. So we start with measuring out the body butter we need. Always add a little more than the jars call for if you aren't adding any extras like fragrance or additive oils, because you can't get everything out of the baggie that you're going to be putting it in. I usually add 1/4 of an ounce extra for each jar that I'm doing. If there's extra, you can always give it a little more in the jar or throw it away. If you are adding around 10 to 12 milliliters extra of fragrance and additive oils, then you don't need to add any extra body butters over the 8 ounces. We're going to add everything to the body butter in the bag, seal the top, and mix for as long as it takes like the video showed. Some manufacturers of creams and body butters suggest heating the body butter to about 120 degrees to get the body butter to mix well with fragrances or essential oils. We are then going to cut a small corner out of the baggie and squeeze the contents into the jar. After that, we're going to clean the top of the jar thoroughly if needed, place a jar seal in the cap, and screw down the cap as tight as we can to activate the seal. This is where you make sure the jar is clean and place your labels on it. Use alcohol to clean any body butter off the jar. We're then going to place the jar in a shrink wrap baggie, heat seal it, and shrink it with a heat gun. If you're using boxes, it's ready to box and label the box. You can always heat seal the box instead of the jar. At some point, you're going to have to decide what color of jars you'll want for manufacturing. We'll discuss that in another video, but if you're using colored jars, there's no need for any dye coloring, as it is for display only and no one will see it. Here's what we're going to need to make an 8-ounce body butter: an ounce scale, a baggie, a heat seal machine, a heat gun, an 8-ounce jar with a cap, some fragrance or essential oil, dye coloring if you're using a clear jar, 2 pipettes or droppers or syringes, any additives that you want, a jar seal, a shrink wrap baggie, and a box if you're going to be boxing. So we're going to start with approximately 8¼ ounces of body butter. I've also included an 8-ounce double-walled jar. So the first thing we're going to do is add some fragrance. I'm going to put 1% fragrance in, which is approximately 2.5 milliliters. Today we're using French lavender from Nature's Garden. It's 2.5 milliliters. And I'm going to add a 1% aloe vera, which is also 2.5 milliliters. We have it. Now we're going to seal it up and mix it like you observed in the video. And this might take a couple minutes. So we'll be right back. So it's been 2 or 3 minutes since I started this, pushed in all the corners. Everything looks good. So now we're going to add it to the jar. We'll do that by pushing everything away from one of the corners. So this you can cut more off than you can with the lotion because it comes out heavier. Yeah, we're going to get most of the rest of it. Remember, I've got an extra 1/4 ounce in here, so and there we have it. Next thing we have to do is add a jar seal to the cap. Now, I didn't get anything around the rim here. If you do, make sure you clean it good with alcohol to make this stick, because that's going to seal. Tighten it down as tight as you can. Like I say, now our body butter is ready to label, which I just put the label on, and they're ready to seal the jar. This is a shrink bag. Now it's easier if you always put the top in first. That way all the cutting will end up on the bottom. And then we're going to shrink it with a heat gun. Make sure you don't get this too close or it will cause a hole. And there we have it. Our body butter. It's ready for sale or ready to be put on the shelf. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this video. Be sure to subscribe and be notified when each of our videos are made. I will be giving you all the places I get supplies wholesale for this product in the notes. I'll also be giving you the URL in the notes to go to if you want to purchase just enough supplies to try out making this product, along with a 50% discount code. Have a great day. Thank you.